Hello.
Wrote to Greg and I said, I hope you're feeling better and that guy's not coming this morning. I'm going out, so if you need anything, let me know.
Oh.
I'm gonna run out so I can be back to the former.
Good. I'll be here for the first part of it. I don't have anybody yet.
No.
I'm recording at the moment, so.
I think it's a vacation.
I don't think so. No. No, I have to leave up there. Wait a minute. Yeah. Bring you. Okay. Well, where's Jeff? How's your knee doing? It's doing good. Good. Ah, familiar. Yeah. It's he's still a little swollen from time to time. Yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah. Just the last couple of days, taken another step in a good direction.
That's good.
I have no idea why or how, but I'll take it.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Morning, Jeff.
good morning. Hey, Bill, how are you?
Okay.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, you?
I'm well. I'm good.
Okay. Glad to hear it. You look well.
Thank you. Oh, just because I think do you remember Stephen Watson?
Yeah.
He apparently has pretty serious rectal cancer and is in
Wow.
Yale.
Oh my God.
Don't you wonder where it comes from?
Yeah. Jeez. Did you have any idea how old he is now?
Uh, no, I don't
60s?
really, but I would estimate probably 50s,
50s. Okay.
young.
I was thinking 60s or so, but either way, that's very young. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Wow. Okay. Well, my thoughts will be with him. I hope he can get through it.
yeah, me too.
Jeez. That's sad.
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
gosh.
Okay,
Are you recording?
I am recording. Amazingly enough.
Yeah.
Good.
David, you know what's really strange
But
is I cannot hear the ting shaw.
I know I have heard that many times.
Yeah, okay. At first, I thought it was because you used to do it on the other side of the room, and I just couldn't hear it. But doing it even right in front of the microphone, it must be above the frequency of your microphone.
I guess so. I don't know. Everybody says though that it's very.
Yeah,
If they hear anything, it's extremely tinny.
yeah. No, I didn't hear anything, so that's got to be it then.
Yeah. So questions? Report?
I definitely need some clarification on the figure eight of single whip. Because see, I watched you at different angles again.
Yep.
And I'm assuming by that you mean that as we move our hands, they're slowly drawn closer into the body before they extend. But I kind of need to see that.
Well, they go in and out.
Yeah,
Really body, and the body moves very subtly through a figure eight pattern.
So when you say that, you're referring to the body more so than the hands?
No, both.
Oh, okay. See, I wasn't even thinking in terms of the body. I was thinking in terms of how the hands are drawn gradually closer in before they extend out.
But the arms only do what the legs and the body tell them to do.
Right, right. Okay, well, now I know I really need to see that again. So.
You're not alone.
Okay.
I will say that's a movement that everybody struggles a little bit with at first. So
yeah.
Good. Glad to do that. Nothing for you.
Well, I was trying to work on a sense of the energy, but I don't have any sense of the energy at all with the hands moving.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure, is that just horizontal sideways, or what are we doing with the energy?
Well, this leads us to presuming you have read up through Pung in the things I gave you. Yeah. So what direction is Pung energy moving? Up, upward. Principally. It can move in other directions.
Well, yeah, I did say that all four of those can,
Yeah.
can move in.
But so you are looking for upward energy.
Okay.
With your Yang style, did you feel that upward energy at all?
You know, I think I concentrated so much on my hands waving around and, you know, getting the movements that I never really arrived at a sense of the energy, you know, all the time, you know, occasionally, but, you know.
So one of the things I would say is that even though you have both learned these movements in the past, we are relearning and refining those movements to a deeper level. And the first element of doing that is just getting the physical movement. And that, in a way, when you're focusing on the physical movement, doesn't allow you to be as aware of the energetic movement as you will be. However, one of the things, a very simple exercise, which I'm presuming, but maybe not, we have done at some point in the past. And that is just, I should stand up to do this. Yeah, you can see it here. So just getting that sense of the one arm pushing down, causing the other one to go up. And this is just an energetic movement. Certainly at our level, there is some muscular involvement. I will admit that I'm not at a level where there is no muscular involvement, but I've managed to get rid of a lot of it. So in a way, what's kind of good about this is that you can begin to feel that rising energy. And when we go into the form, that energy is growing to that point. And then going outward in G, there. I wouldn't be too concerned about it at this point.
Okay.
But it is very good to be aware that is the energy that eventually you're wanting to feel there, to express there. So you can develop the intent to have it, whether you're feeling it at this point or not.
Okay. It's probably also because I'm Wisconsin, I'm working on a sense of the energy.
Absolutely. Do you have other questions at this point, Jeff?
Just at some point when we're doing a flow today, can you re-emphasize the energy at each movement? Because at some points, I'm kind of not exactly sure where one posture ends and the next begins.
Yeah, I can't imagine why that is.
Just because there's much less movement in this one as well.
Yep.
But just to help me really differentiate when we are transitioning in the energy movement as well.
Absolutely.
Like you said, right now I am focusing on the physical movements much more so than the energy, but I still want to know at least know the energy differentiations right now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I would like you to go through the 8 gates, standing work, including pulsing. And I am just going to watch today so that I can see try to see what you're doing or not doing.
I may not get the order right because I am still remembering the order I was doing with the other class.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. Can you just say again what the order is?
Which order are we doing? We're doing, oh yeah, we're doing, I had to stop and think myself.
Yeah.
We're doing, so heaven of Qian, earth, kun, kan, water, li, fire, sun, wind, zhen, thunder, dewy, lake, and
Mountain.
I skipped it. Zhen, thunder, gun, mountain, dewy, lake.
Yeah, it's the end part that is different. So that's the part I
Yeah.
I didn't remember. All right, I will try to remember it.
It's all right. Do 4, and if you're in the wrong order, you won't die.
Okay.
I promise.
That's good to know that this isn't life threatening.
No, it is not life threatening.
Okay.
Okay, so I'd like to work on that a little bit.
Good.
I think the first thing I would say is you don't want to have any pauses anywhere, anytime. It never stops. So, for instance, I did see at the very beginning a very nice starting and then freezing. No freezing. Got to keep it going. It is extremely important in order to get the energy to move all the way from the spine through the body, particularly so that you can feel it, that you make that connection from the elbow to the scapula and feel the scapula moving. And in order to do what we want to do in all of these movements, there has to be in every one of those pulsings and transitions a sense of circularity. And it has to be a circle that allows you to rotate the elbows and move the scapula. So for instance, in Sun, I saw a circle that was going like this. Well, that barely moves the scapula a little bit. But if instead of going this way, you go this way, then you can get all the elements you need here, which is bend and twist in, push the scapula in, extend, twist out, and move the scapula out. So let's go through each one of these and really, so do this with me. I will try to make clear where and what these circular movements are that we're trying to find here. So when we begin, that first seeking motion is allowing us actually to bring the arms forward a little bit. And then as we continue to sink, to bend and twist in towards the body. And then as you rise, going out. So here the curve is this way. It's this part of that sphere that we're working with. So we're going around this curve. And when we get to this point, we're going to just continue right on when you get up to here and come in, see my elbows coming in, push the scapula in, push the scapula out. So the elbows have to rotate through a circle in each of these movements. And the hands need to be kept along the side channels. We can't do this kind of movement and keep the elbows on the side channels all the time. But you can keep the hands on the side channel and not allow them to shift into the center. So one of the things that I could see happening sometimes was that the hands would come in to the center and then go back out again. Not necessarily just in this movement, but in any of them. as we go into Kun Earth, we're bending in and twisting in halfway down, and then extending and twisting out to Kun. So we follow the same curve going down. And then this circle is coming in this way and going out. So it's doing this circle coming in towards the body, back out to the position. And it doesn't, I'm trying to make them fairly large at the moment so you can really see them. They don't have to be large, they simply need to be there. So the movement may be much smaller. You don't have to have that big circle that I'm drawing at the moment, but just to get the idea of the movement. And Jeff, if you have any questions at any point, speak up.
Just do that circular movement one more time again, please.
Sure. So try to be aware that you are, one of the things when I talk about bending, we're not just bending the shoulders, bending the elbows, or bending the wrists. We are also bending the hands and the fingers and extending all of those joints, okay? So one of the things is to get everything involved, because that's what we really want to do in our Tai Chi as well. It's not, I'm not just doing it here. That's exactly what's happening here. Everything is extending. Everything is bending in and out. So this is not limited to the Qigong. So this movement, you're bending and twisting in, extending and twisting out. And then going to Kan, water. You're bending and twisting in. So you're starting somewhat through that same circle, but this time the arms extend on out into the posture. And remember that you're not going quite back to your base level, you're slightly lower than base level here. And this circle is this way. This way. So you're going to bend and twist in. See my elbows coming in towards the spine and then out. And you want to try to keep the hands right along those side channels. One of the things we're really working here is getting that energy to flow through the entire body and side channels. And circle doesn't have to be that large. Obviously, if you make it too large, now it becomes an awkward movement. So it can be whatever is comfortable for you, but you want to try to be clear about the circle. Then when we go into Li, fire, we start again, bend, extend, and now it's going to be this circle. So you're bending and extending. Elbows are rotating and drawing in. So notice that I am not doing that movement, which is what you were just doing.
Yeah. It's like, oh.
So what you're doing is the elbows are not going back. The elbows are rotating in and out. And yes, so you're trying to one thing to remember, we talked last week about this space is just the size of a robin's egg. It doesn't have to be huge. So if when it's out, you have a larger space, then you can have a smaller space. And the elbows have not retreated back, because once they go back, beside the body or even beyond the side of the body, that begins to limit the movement of the energy through the arms. The arms need to stay a little bit forward. The elbows need to stay a little bit forward. So the next one is Sun. So from here, you start down and in, and then spread out. And this is kind of a difficult one, in that here, and I mentioned a moment ago that we want this circle to go this way, or so it's coming in and going out. It's not circling around this way. Okay, so we bend and extend, and that lets the elbows rotate in, push the scapula in, pull the scapula out.
Can you do a side view of that, please, David?
Sure. So you're going to bend the scapula in and push it out. Okay?
Yeah, so that movement is not drawing in closer to the body from the front and out. It's drawing in from the side and out.
It's going this way. It's staying the plane in front of the body.
Okay, got it. That was what I was asking. Thank you.
It's not this way.
Right. Which was hard to tell when I saw it from the front, but seeing from this way, it's clear.
Good. And then from here, we go up to Zhen Thunder. So you're coming in and out, and so again, you're going through that curve on the back of the sphere. And again, these are going in this direction. They're not going out here. So from here, they're bending in and extending out, twisting in, extending out. Yeah. And then going to gun, you're going down and extending out. And now this circle's on a diagonal. So you're bending and twisting in and extending out. And you really want to try to coordinate the arms and the body and the legs all together so that everything completes the bend and everything completes the extend at the same time. And then going into Dewey, you want to actually bend further in than you have done before. You're actually going to cross the wrists, making that connection at that wrist point. And then as you extend, they twist out. And the important thing here is that this movement from here has to not move the shoulders up and down. Bill. So
really?
this is a little difficult in that you don't want to get too close to the body, but you don't want to do, you don't want this going on. You just want in and out, in and out, in and out, into it. You could do it the other way. You could do in and out. So this has less, a little less movement than some of the others, because you're right. You're just working, trying to go around that circle here. And then when you close, remember we changed where we want to make that connection at the top. So when we come down to here and we're going up, we're actually crossing the wrists till you make that energetic connection there. And then they come down with the wrists crossed and separate to just allow gong points connecting at the bottom. Questions?
No. I mean, the last time I worked on it, we had stopped just short of pulsing, I think. So this is
helpful.
This is good.
Good. So anything for you, Jeff?
No, I'm glad we did this, because now I can kind of go back and watch this again and do it again with everything you just said.
Okay.
Practice. Good. So that's good that it's all in one place for each of the eight gates.
Good. So let's just take a moment here. Do you have any questions about the information about the energies and Peng in particular? I'm not going to get into the others at the moment.
No, that was very interesting.
No questions at this point, no.
Okay. Well then, read Lu for next time.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot what I had done. Wait a minute. Okay. So the figure 8.
Mm.
And I'm going to do this at different angles, so
Okay.
also a different camera.
Yeah, actually, I'm not in foot viewing mode right now. I can only see down to about your knees.
Yeah, didn't matter too much for the other, but it will for this one.
Yeah. There we go.
So I've completed the second grasping sparrow's tail. I'm going to turn from the dantian to place that foot. And then as I rotate across, I'm going in. Now notice that my hands are not going across the body. They're just coming to the center. Mm-hmm. So I've gone from here to here, in, and then I'm going out. And notice the arms are and elbows are rotating and twisting out. And I'm going to 100% on that right foot. so that I can replace the left and go into single whip. So the movement is, and I'm exaggerating here, and I'll turn it in a moment, but you're going out, in, out, in, out. Okay. So if I'm here, so step coming in, turns the leg, going out to 100%, reset the left, and single whip. Question there, Jeff?
Yeah, I need to see it again as far as when the arms are drawing in closer to the body or not, as opposed to also going side to side. So maybe you can do it once, really exaggerating the movement.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Maybe best to see me sideways.
Yes, definitely. The position you're in now is good.
I'm sorry?
That's good. That position is good.
Yep. Okay, I will exaggerate this. This is not how you want to do it. So you're going to step and you're going, it's really out and in and out and in and out.
Ah, yes. I saw the figure 8.
Okay.
Okay, that was helpful. Yes, thank you.
Good. So try it. Since Jeff asked, I will look at him first. Okay, the hands only go at about neck height. Don't get too high, Jeff. And remember that just like in the pulsing, you've got to bend and stretch.
From the back.
Yes, and all the way through the fingers.
Okay. All right. Can you see me from there?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. In a gross sense, yeah, you're on the right track, but watch my hands.
Okay.
So I'm going to face you.
Yep.
Because this is what you were doing. Okay. So your hands were out here and out here. And yeah, there was a little bit of bend and stretch there, but that if you'll watch my arms now, that's not what the arms are doing. So you're here, they twist in much more. By this point, they're facing the body.
Okay.
And here, they are on an angle away from the body. And here, they're twisting in again and then out fully to palms forward.
Okay. doing a lot of bending and extending and really almost no twisting.
Twisting is a little less, although there's quite a bit at the beginning, since you're twisting in,
Right.
twisting out, twisting in, twisting out.
Okay.
It's not minimal, it's pretty present.
No, that's what I'm saying is I was doing very minimal.
Yes, that's true.
Yes. Okay.
When does the right foot reset?
The right foot
or
on the first turn.
On the first turn, so it follows.
So you have a step.
Yeah.
Turn the leg.
All right.
As you're coming across. Boom. You get it straight ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Try it. Okay, the thing I would say is when you reset over here, this movement is starting up and out right away.
Oh, okay.
You win.
Yeah, okay.
It's
that way. Yeah, but not that far.
But even with space on the body.
Okay.
So Bill has made me aware that I need to emphasize again that in the Wu style, it's important. It's a major principle that the hands do not cross the center of the body.
Yes.
So
you cannot say that enough because I need to keep hearing that too.
That's a hard one. It's so easy.
Right.
Movement here, and it's just easy to flip the hands across and flip the hands across.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Must not do that. The kind of interesting thing is that from this point, the hands stay pretty equally relating to the center line of the body all the way through the posture. They're going in and out and they're twisting, but they're not doing this.
Yes. Okay.
So even more awareness that it is in first. You're quite right, because I realized that what I was saying sounded like that wasn't happening. But get to here, reset, and yes, it's in, but I'm not going down. Okay. So yes, there is in, but when you're approaching mid weight, it begins to go out. Okay.
David, does their body rise at that very when we're finishing?
Not really, no.
Okay, I've been putting a fair amount
There's
in.
opening, but which may create a very subtle rise, but that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to rise.
Okay. Because Lié is really not rising, it's split.
I'm sorry?
Because Lié is really not rising, it's split.
That's right. It's not rising, it's split, yes.
Okay.
It's dividing the energy.
Okay.
It's the same thing in the 8 gates. Since you were just working on that, Jeff.
Yeah.
Think about it. Boom.
Right.
Same
thing. And then there's a little bit of rising in that, but it's just incidental. It's because of the opening.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Other questions there?
No. It's a lot of new stuff.
Yeah. Well, this is not a beginning class,
no.
Guys. In case that hadn't occurred to you.
Yeah.
Since
it's not. Yeah.
Since I have the two of you,
and it's fine.
Yeah, this is not beginning. We're really working on refining.
Yeah.
So what I'd like you to do is start at the beginning and flow through single whip. Single whip is pretty good. Don't go back and forth.
I'm sorry?
In grasping sparrow's tail, don't go back and forth. It's constantly forward.
I'm still having, that I guess what confuses me is from Lu, which
G.
G, and then Lu.
Lu. Yeah, I'm realizing I may. We'll talk about that another time. Never mind. G. So yeah, Lu.
Go from G to Lu again.
Sure. So let's turn sideways. Yep. I'll turn a little easier to see it here. G. Boom. So
I just haven't been doing Lu. I've been doing that sort of thing.
You're not pulling in, you're pushing out.
Oh, okay.
You're spreading the energy to the sides.
Okay.
And really, Lu, let's see if you've gotten to here. Lu is just there. That's it. That's it. This is yeah.
And the on is just almost a reset of the hands at that point, or
no, it's an opening from the spine through the scapula. Okay. So I don't know if watch my back.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Watch my back. So I've done G.
Yeah.
Lu. On. Yeah. I don't know if you can see anything.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Nothing to it. Let me look at okay, you want to try it?
Yeah.
So would you try it from the beginning? Okay, couple of things. So in that first movement, there is not a step out and then step to the corner.
Okay.
Okay. So
Step.
when you spiral down into the right, that frees the left to step as you start the turn.
Okay.
And then you want to think, I had the sense of your tongue as going up this way. You want to drive the fingertips up, but you're driving them up with the elbows. Boom.
And what was I doing?
You were going up like this.
Can you do it the correct way once more, please?
Sure. So you made that step.
Yeah.
This rotate and shift drives the fingertips up.
Okay.
And continuing to rotate, you have a very brief bend in and then out as you rotate into your bow stance.
Okay.
Blue rollback is done while you are shifting forward to touch. And that touch triggers the opening of the scapula, which creates on.
When you touch, you mean the toe?
Yep.
Can you do that once more?
Sure. I love all this practice I'm getting. So step, drive the fingertips up, pump, in, out, G, liu, on. So those just come bam, bam.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you at the beginning, to do that with the differentiating energies at each point.
Yep.
That's what I need to see.
Let me do it really slowly that way.
Okay.
Hum, G, lu, on.
Okay.
The only other thing I think I want to mention for you, Jeff, is when you complete single whip, notice that my arms are almost, when you look at them from the front, almost vertical. They are leaning slightly forward, but
Okay.
they're not here.
Okay.
They're here.
Right. I was doing much more Yang style single whip.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
Here in Yang, it's here. Here.
Right.
Here.
Much closer. Okay.
In a way, if you, doesn't almost matter which one you think of, the pung ward off, but here, pung is here. Much smaller.
Right. Okay.
Other questions there?
No.
What more time do I have to
Not much.
Just about 11 now.
I have 15 minutes to torture you. So let's begin to look at the next posture.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because it's an interrupted posture, lift hands, which transitions into a different posture entirely. So just as a reminder, here's the full lift hand, which we don't do at this point. So we have a shift, a rotate and touch, reset the foot, and rotate and shift forward. That's the full lift hand. But in this case, what happens is, watch me, you get to this point and your opponent has really charged in. And you say, oh, okay, come on, pull down, release, and embrace. So pull down and embrace is where you're actually going to end up. I like this posture. So, let's look at this first part. And just for a moment, do it without the arms. You put the arms straight out if you like. So you're turned just slightly left of straight ahead. And the first thing is you just shift to 100% on the left foot. And then you're going to rotate right, which sweeps the leg back a little, and then turn left, which sweeps it forward. So the intention here is that you're getting around somebody's foot into the center. So you shift and you turn and touch, and there's no weight on that toe because that is a kick to the groin. It's what it could be, or to the shin, or whatever is available. So that's as far as we go with the lift hand movement. So if we're in single whip, as you shift on to the left hand actually rises a little and the right begins to sink. And you sit on that left foot, excuse me. And then as you rotate, focus on your right arm. As you rotate, the arm follows the leg and comes back to palm forward, elbow lifted out to the side a little, and the palm is right beside the thigh. So your palm has done this circle. And this is actually a low push. Low, could be a push downward or a press forward. So you shift. Don't worry about the left for a moment. The right follows the right leg. Okay. Now the left here, as you do that, you shift and it goes up a little, it rises a little, and then as you do this, it begins to come in. It begins to come in. And so you end up with the left hand just left of the center line of the body, and the right is palm forward by the thigh.
David, could you take one step to your right and do that all? because the chair, I can't see your feet actually, because the chair top is blocking your feet. Oh, there you go. That works. That's good.
So yeah, we're in single whip. So you shift, you're sitting 100% on the left, rotate, touch.
And you're still 100% on the left.
Yes, absolutely. Because actually you're not going to, you don't pause at all. What actually happens here is you shift, rotate, touch, step, pull down, pull down, baby. I'm going to turn sideways, probably be better for you, Jeff.
Yeah, because I haven't really seen too clearly yet what the left hand was doing.
Yep.
So this will help.
So when you shift, they just fold. You rotate and touch, and the left comes in towards the center line, and the right comes palm forward by the right thigh. Yeah, so your right arm has to move a little faster, and the elbow has to lift out a little. Yeah. And then instead of going on, the left sweeps back, and the right arm comes up, and both arms bend in and twist in so that they can rotate and shift back, extending and twisting out. So you're going this way. And the left foot does not move yet. Boom. You're staying rooted for that movement. You can move to another position if you need to. So shift, rotate and touch, step back, pull down. Then pick up the left toe and close the right quad a little further and turn. And then you just shift to the left and the arms expand out. Boom. And my arms are, they are rotating this way in this case. And as you can see, my fingers are also bending out. The arms are bending out. Elbows are pulling the scapula out. Yeah. I'm going to turn my back to you. This now you may want to move. I'm just turning so Jeff has another view.
Yeah.
So you're in single whip, shift, rotate and touch, step back, pull down, release, shift, embrace.
So on that last shift, you're opening and expanding and twisting back out.
You're not twisting. You're not twisting the body in that one.
No, the arms.
But the arms are, yes.
Right. So, and there is rotation out in that last turn.
There's really not in the body. You're not turning. You're just shifting. This is a push. So actually, if you think about this, this is, you pull this guy off balance, and now boom is really what it is. But the posture is simply back of the hands going out. Question?
Okay, so the pull back, the body, again, the hands don't cross the body.
Right.
Right. So it goes to here and about, that's about as far as it goes. Yeah. And then
and that movement turns the left leg. So you're going to pull down, release, push. So shift, touch, step, rotate and shift, pull down, release the left foot, get back, embrace, push out.
That last shift, are you shifting back at all, or is it just to the
Yes.
left?
Nope, definitely back.
Oh, so that's just throwing me off, is I couldn't tell, but it just doesn't feel right if it's an outward push, why are you shifting back? I'm not getting that.
So pull down,
Yeah.
release, back. So this is another one of those places where you have a projecting energy going forward when the body is retreating, which really only happens in Tai Chi. Most other martial arts don't do that movement.
Right. When you finish that posture, then what's your weight distribution?
60% on the back leg.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not in a position after you've done this to push and go forward because you're already forward.
Right.
So the only way you can do that is go back, sink into that rear leg. That doesn't mean go down. That means sink your energy into that back leg.
Can you do it again just from the point where you've already pulled down? Because I need to see what the hands are doing there. I'm not getting that either. The very,
yeah, that's when you've gotten to here,
yeah.
That next movement of the hands is really pretty quick because it happens while you're stepping.
Yeah.
So the right comes up and the left does very little, but they're on each side of my body.
Okay.
If I turn this towards you, I'm not here or here. I'm right in the middle.
Yeah.
And I've bent in. There's a little bend in there so that as you pull down, you can extend. You can shoot that energy out into that. And then this is a bend in. And that's an extend out.
Okay. I was missing that bend in because I wasn't understanding how you were continuing to extend. I didn't see the bend in and extend out. That's the part I was missing. Okay. Interesting. There's a lot going on that last little bit.
Yes, there is. And we'll come back to this next week, but I wanted to get you started on it anyway.
Right. Okay, good.
I might have to practice it.
I think you might. Believe me, I have. So last minute questions?
No, that's good.
Okay. Come on. I know I have some. There it is. There you are. Good. So I have a doctor's appointment next week, which get in the way. What?
On Tuesday.
Yeah. And I can't do this later in the day because I have an afternoon class.
Right.
I could do Friday morning if that's a possibility.
Fridays are much tougher for me.
Okay.
If that's the only other option, I would not be averse to skipping a week and just pushing things forward if that's an option with you.
Well, that's fine with me. I mean, I was simply offering that as a
Fridays are my busiest work day, and I've got generally a lot going on with bringing Kate. We only have one car, so I'm bringing Kate to work and bringing Jesse to preschool. So that's Fridays are. There's a good chance I would not be able to do it.
Yeah. There is a possibility I could do it Thursday.
That would be better. Tougher than Tuesday, but better than Friday. I'll put it that way.
Maybe we should just skip a week.
I'm okay with that. I feel like I've got good stuff to work on here in the interim.
So we're going to skip a week?
I think we're going to skip a week. Rather than struggle around it, let's just skip a week. And
okay.
I have a couple of doctors who insist on early morning appointments, and I have no control over it.
Yeah, that's no problem. Not at all.
Okay.
Okay, great. Well, I hope they're okay. I hope it's nothing serious and that the appointments go well.
No, it's actually it's just my doctor likes to do an echocardiogram on my heart every year, and he hasn't done it. I mean, this is when it happens to hit.
Yeah. Right.
So, but I have no, as far as I know, I have no problems.
Okay. Unrelated. I wanted to comment earlier. Just something struck me that it's struck me many times, is that you have gotten really good at picking up on very small things I'm doing, even through the video, which has got to be really tough to do because I know I have to stand over there for you to see me, so you can't even see the fine points but your comments on what I'm doing are spot on, and they're really giving me a lot of good input. And for you to be able to do that on a video at a distance is pretty impressive.
I've had 2 years. I've had 2 years practice.
Well, you've gotten very good at it. So.
It's not ideal, but it's better than.
Well, it's ideal for me because otherwise I wouldn't be able to take class with you. So
right.
For me, it's great.
Yeah.
I've missed it.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, have a great 2 weeks then.
Thank you. You too. Take care, Bill. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care.